Hi again. Geez, I guess I had some technical difficulties here. So I'm back again. This is Dr. Joanny Liu, and I'm going to be talking about think and heal your concussion because let's face it, this is all about the brain. And what affects the brain is exactly what we're thinking about. So please hop on, share this with your friends, get them to come on as well. Let them know that I'm talking about healing your concussion, which is pretty much what I talk about every week, okay? So the thing is that your thoughts really do count. Thoughts matter because you are definitely in control of one thing and one thing only, and that is yourself. And that includes what you're thinking, what you're feeling, the decisions that you make, and the actions you take based on those decisions and the results that you get. You are definitely responsible, okay? You can, and that means that you also have the power to make up the changes that you want, okay? If you don't like a situation, then you can definitely do something about it. So that's no different between having a concussion and being sick for any other reason. I mean, in my case, I should have been really happy. Back in my mid-30s when I was still in corporate, I was a professional engineer and I was in this job and I wasn't happy. In fact, I was downright miserable. I was angry all the time, upset all the time, and yet, it was a well-paying job. And I had a husband, a family. I had 2 young sons, and, I really loved them. And I was a leader in my community, leading a pretty major soccer program. And I loved what I was doing outside of work, okay? This happens to a lot of people, which is the reason why it drives so many people to be volunteers, okay? Because usually you try to do things that you love, you try to find the things that you love. But yes, I was very unhappy at work. And it really came down to thinking about being such a good girl and that I was doing my best, but I wasn't being recognized, I wasn't being appreciated. And that was my perception. Was that right? I don't know. But the thing is that I chose to be very unhappy. And so just during a routine visit to my doctors, I found out that I had a bad patch in my cervical test, in my pap test. Well, I was pretty mad. I was pretty upset because I thought I had done everything that I possibly could in order to prevent any kind of illness, especially something as serious as, a cancer thing, right? Nobody takes that lying down, usually. And the thing is that I thought that everything that I was doing, which is still today the conventional wisdom, that if you exercise regularly and have a good diet, that you're going to stay well and keep well. Well, I found out that day that that wasn't true. And so I had to have some surgery to do some more exploration. Hi Barb, how are you? Nice to see you here. And so it was really hard for me, okay? It was really hard for me to grasp that I was going to have this sort of thing happen to me. And so because of the type of person I am, I just dove deep into the research to find out, okay, why is this happening to me? Hi, Jessie. And I realized that from the research that I'd done, including talking to a nurse, and I don't even remember why I was talking to her, where I met her, but she told me that the demographic, and this is in the 1990s, that get cervical cancer are the people who have multiple sexual partners who have multiple sexual partners. In other words, they were prostitutes. Oh. Well, no, I was definitely not in that demographic. I mean, I was a professional woman. I was a corporate woman. I was a wife, a mother, a community leader. That wasn't me. So within a few weeks' time, I had my surgery and I was cleared with a fine bill of health. I was perfectly okay. You know, my doctor gave me a few warnings. You know, she just told me it was inflammation, but, you know, nothing to worry about. But the thing is that this cancer scare initially made me angry, but it also made me quiet down and start thinking about my life and what I wanted out of it. I want you to really think about that too. Anytime anything stops you dead in your tracks and you have to stop doing what you were doing before, this is the time to actually search yourself, search your soul, and find out what it is that you need to do. And I discovered that I was just stuck in this victim mentality. I was feeling sorry for myself. In my particular case, it was feeling sorry for myself. And, you know, I was letting people boss me around. I was letting people tell me what to do, setting their agenda to become my agenda. I wasn't doing anything for me. Yes, Jessie, life is our best teacher. You are so right. The thing is whether we want to be taught that lesson or not, right? Because, you know, the thing is we all make mistakes. But mistakes are always temporary. We can always correct those mistakes. And that is by forgiving ourselves for whatever we think we did and letting it go. And the mistakes are gone. Okay? So that really is the way we have to treat it. And so I realized that being a victim, I had to become the opposite of that. And I had to start thinking for myself and doing things for myself that were good for me. So I didn't really want to stay in corporate, but I wanted to quit. I wanted to go and start contracting, you know, have my own business. But my husband, who was always a businessman for most of his engineering career, you know, he said, no, you know, we need the benefits. No, we don't. It was just fear talking, right? And so I wanted to go in contract. I wanted to make better money. I wanted to have more opportunities. And so that December, I made a decision. Things seem to happen to me in December, you know, when I make major decisions in my life. But I made a major decision. I was going to quit, and I did quit, and I went on to do contract work, and it was during Y2K, so there's plenty of work to be done, and I had some amazing experiences, and I made more money than I ever did, and I had more satisfaction than I ever did in any job ever in that particular career. But then things changed again, because I noted that there wasn't as much demand for people like me, and I knew I had to change again. So I didn't need to get threatened with a sickness this time, okay? I didn't need to be threatened with sickness this time. And so it was very important that I make the changes on my own before anything like that happened again. And I did, because I learned my lesson. So you've got to make a decision. Either you're going to be well or you're not going to be well. And which thoughts are dominating your mind? Because you cannot be well and be afraid of your concussion at the same time and expect to be well, because it ain't going to happen. You have to change your thoughts. You have to change your focus. Is the fear of your concussion and what it has done to your life more important than what you really want? Do you have a burning desire to accomplish something, such as getting over your concussion? Is that stronger than staying where you are, where you're suffering? You don't have to be, okay? Like I said, you are totally responsible for the things that happen to you. Hi, Kim. Nice to see you. You are totally responsible for getting well again. You are totally responsible for changing around your life by changing around your thoughts and your habits. Because if you're afraid, that's a habit. If you become optimistic, then that becomes a habit. But you have to really, love you too, then you have to take your life into your own hands and make a decision that you are going to be well again, and you take the steps that you're going to be well again. So, if you need help with a concussion right now, I do have a special gift for you if you sign up for it. It's called Concussion Answers. Okay? There are 10 steps in there, as well as certain things that you can do about your headaches and about sleeping again, okay, if you're having those issues. Don't ever stand still. You cannot afford to stand still, because if you are standing still or you're resisting the good things that are coming, that want to come into your life, then you're dying. Okay? If you're really struggling with your concussion, then you probably need some more professional help. You can always contact me through my website and get an initial consultation with me. Okay, so until next week, take the steps that you need to take. Think about what you want in your life and go do it. Okay, farewell. Goodbye. See you then.